All right.
a little bit.
Sounds good.
All right. So yeah, so tell me a little bit about you. So basically, you've been involved with Anarchapulco for a long time. I always see you around, and I know you're into to working with plant medicines quite a lot because whenever you're around, it's you're coming from an ayahuasca ceremony or you're going you're on the way to one. So it's all. So I know you work a lot with the medicine, but I'm curious, how do you fit into where did you first even get into self development and then spiritual development? Was it the same for you, or was there different times? And kind of what happened even to get you into this
It
this
was
whole
different.
world?
It was different times. It was a spiritual awakening when I was 21, and that led me into more of a psychedelic um, life. And then eventually that led me to ayahuasca. And, I've had dangerous ceremonies like you, which has really helped me to mold what we do at Anarch Awakening. So, yeah.
So what was your life like before you really got on the path? Like what was going on up till you were 21, up till that first experience?
A lot of self-hatred,
Hmm.
a lot of like I used to lie a lot, just to like make myself feel better about who I was. And um, yeah, I just didn't really have an idea of like really who I was. I felt very unaware, and I was very unaware. I guess I didn't realize how unaware I was until I started to sit with the medicine of different plants. And I was a Hooters girl. I was really materialistic. And then I sat with mushrooms, and that was kind of my first look into where I was going, and it wasn't a good path. And then I just had this really beautiful spiritual awakening after being attuned to Reiki, and it had nothing to do with psychedelics. I was completely sober, and was for 4 months I was just channeling and coming up with these like really beautiful epiphanies, and didn't know where it was coming from. Everybody thought that I had kind of lost my mind, and I just didn't feel like the reality that we were living in was, it wasn't fitting for me anymore. And of course, that made people question me. And then when I was, 24, that's when I started to get into the liberty movement, like kind of fight against what the government was doing, because I felt that we were programmed and that there was more to our purpose and our potential. And then eventually that led me to, Anarchapulco, where I sat for the first time. And yeah, it's history from there. But it was funny, I should say, in 2014, I kind of lost my spirituality. I kind of went back to being an atheist after I thought, I was surrounding myself with people who were. And it was when I sat with ayahuasca that I was told you were on the right path. So then I came back to the spirituality, and my life has been a little bit more full, a lot more full since I started working with the medicine again. And yeah, so I've incorporated that spirituality again, and it's really blossomed now.
Very good. Yeah, it's so interesting how there's so many ways somebody can have an awakening. Like it's unbelievable. Like for me, I was literally just I was reading a book at the time, which was a very spiritual book about different levels of the different dimensions you go to potentially after you pass, and kind of what's going on. It was just fascinating. And then I went and I spoke to some crazy lady on the street, was screaming her head off, and I was like, I'm gonna go talk to this nice lady. That makes sense. And then I had this complete download of like, oh, there's reincarnation and there's no such thing as death, and we're just here to help each other, and we're all souls. And I was like, whoa. And I was just, what did I do? I read a book, and then I went to speak to some crazy lady, and I had this massive download. So yeah, it's like, it's very interesting. It seems to be what I've been picking up. It's like if you have the will, like if you put some effort to know, whether you want to call it God, universal field, how the truth, like how things work, like whatever you want to call it, but just to have that desire to know, like, okay, what's really going on here? What's the purpose of this? Why am I here? The universe really just gives you, you know what I mean? It really does. It really gives you the opportunities to wake up. All you have to do is, that's the main thing when people ask me, from my journey, I just say the genuine desire to know the truth, the genuine desire to know God. And if you really have that, woo, it's just unbelievable. It's an unbelievable roller coaster ride, and it doesn't take that much work. A lot of things take a lot of work. You want to get super ripped, you're going to be working out of the gym for months, maybe years. You want to lose weight, it's going to be a lot. Whatever you want to do, you want to build a house. Oh, it's going to take a lot of work. You want to know the truth of reality? Well, it doesn't really take that long. Because
Yeah.
it just is, and there's so many resources, especially today, to to find out a little bit about what's going on out there, you know?
Yeah, and so many people are having an awakening right now. When I had my
Hmm.
spiritual awakening, I started to notice that like I was having different visions of the stars. Like the stars felt like they were dropping on my head, and I could see them like way clearer. And the colors were like, whew. And I talked to my Reiki master, and I told her all of these symptoms that I was going through, and she goes, "Well, you're just going through the ascension process. You're going to the fifth dimension." And I was like, what is that? This is in 2011. So I looked it up. I remember Googling it and nothing came up. The only thing that came up was the song, This is the Dawning of the Age of Aquarius. That's it. And if you look up the fifth dimension now on Google, you see just lists and lists and lists and pages. And I've gotten to see that, because there was nothing on it in 2011. I was lucky to find a book on it that really explained like the symptom. I remember crying, being like, I'm going through this. I know this is what I'm going through with the symptoms that I'm having, the way that I'm feeling. I felt like I was vibrating. My gums were vibrating, just like these really strange symptoms that just came on really suddenly. And now more and more people are waking up to this and seeking the truth through spirituality. And I think that we're all kind of seeking healing. We're all seeking healing and from the programming that we've undergone. And what people are starting to realize, I think, is that to heal, it's a really spiritual experience. So,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's lots of forms of healing, and there's so much different types of trauma, right? Like everybody's got trauma, but
right.
different types. You know, brainwashing, physical abuse, sexual abuse, blah blah. List goes on. But absolutely, because when you start healing yourself, you start loving yourself more, because it's like layers of conditioning, whether it's trauma, propaganda, whatever it is. There's all these layers to keep us from connecting with ourselves. But when you really start to
Exactly.
connect with your true self with a capital S is not a person. It is all of it. Many sages have written about this, many enlightened masters, and we can say I've had some pretty profound experiences recently where I've been in those places where there was no person. It was just all of it. The totality of all that is actually the truth of our being. And it's inescapable, and it just is that. There's no, and it doesn't. The funny thing is, people, it's like it's a weird situation. Like I want to respect every part of the journey. Is like I really want to respect where everyone is at, and everyone's at a totally different place, and that's
Exactly.
fine. And I used to be like, there's no God, there's no anything. Religion is bullshit, and I still think religion is bullshit, but at some point, if you really go down the path, you start realizing certain truths internally for yourself. Like you have certain experiences where it becomes absolutely undeniable that there's just so much going on, and there is a creative energy. There is a self, a presence, a consciousness that's actually our true nature that is there within all of us. But it's being able to clear away the mind, to quiet the mind enough to really be able to tap into. Really, when I say I am, it's not a person. If I really sit with that, it's not a person that I am. I am all it is. That's the truth of my nature. The person is so temporary. It's so temporary. What? You
Yeah.
come down here for 80 years and that's it? Really? No
The
way.
blink of an eye.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, but yeah, as you were saying, like so many people are starting to, just have these experiences, and it's just the time. That's just what it is. It's time for humanity to awaken and to reestablish our connection with the divine. That's what it is.
Absolutely. And something that happens too when we start to calm our mind. Like I've had one, and I mean it's hard for me because I'm
Hmm.
still in the process of learning how to quiet my mind, but I've had one experience where I've quieted my mind to the point of reaching this place where I desired nothing, not even life itself. And it was the most what is the word I'm looking for?
Blissful.
Euphoric
Hmm.
feelings I've ever felt in my life. And I kind of attach myself to that then because, as
Hmm.
human beings, we have an ego. And it's funny because people think, well, we're not supposed to have, we want to kill the ego. The ego is bad. The ego is what we need, to kind of get through life. And so, I mean, even in those situations where you experience something like that, my mind wants to like hold on to that, be like, well, now I want to, hold on to that feeling of
Hmm.
euphoria of not, desiring anything, which makes me desire again. So, the thing is about the spiritual path is that it just keeps going and going. And there's always something to learn on it, especially while we're here on earth, And I don't even think it ends after that. I think it just keeps going and going. So,
There is no, and as one of my teachers says, it's an infinity game. There's no end. There's no end. But yeah, what you said also, it's been the same thing for me. After my last experience, which was really profound, it was just, again, it was just God and no person. And actually the idea of that I used to think I was a person, or that people think they're people, it was really funny. Like it was a cosmic joke, because there was only the totality of everything. You know what I mean? And it was just so funny that everyone thought, oh, I'm a person. And I wanted to just go around all week and be like, you're not a person. Your problem is you believe you're a person. You're not a person. The person is temporary. But now, even now, like the experience was like I have the wisdom and knowledge, and like there, there's no death. Like, of course there's no death. I've been in the state of everything that is for days. But even now, there is a part of me, of course, that's like, oh, I want to be back there. It was so blissful. I was one with God. I was so happy. There was nothing to do. Everything was perfect. There was nothing to achieve. It was just unbelievable. But the truth is, it's about actually hitting that and realizing the absolute truth. So then you can realize you're immortal. There's no death. The part of you. There's a part of you that always just is. Like, it's consciousness itself. That's our nature. So now go and be a person. Take that truth and bring it in. And I completely changed after the experience, because like I just, the way I conduct life, the mind is so much more quiet now. I can just sit and be at peace. I can tap into the presence. I'm aware when the ego comes and the mind comes and it starts to think, I go, oh, there's the ego, there's the mind starting to do its thing, and I can just kind of let it go. It's just unbelievable. And yeah, everything has just changed, and also I have to integrity is really important, like, because everyone is me, and I know everyone is me. Everyone is me, right? It's an illusion that everyone is not. We're the same on one level. We're just the same consciousness in these different bodies.
Yep.
So me, like, doing a business deal with you where I screw you over, I'm screwing over myself, which is actually self-hatred, which is anti-God. It's anti-consciousness. So everything has to be totally in alignment. Everything I do has to be good for all beings concerned, because I'm literally hurting myself, and there's no other way to be. And interestingly, Hawking says this, and if anybody hasn't studied Hawking's or read Power versus Force, go and read it. But that is a spiritual path, just being absolutely in integrity all the time in everything, in your speech and your word, everything you do. That will lead you to the ultimate realization, or at least will help you on the way. So
I absolutely agree. I think I've been in this philosophy for the last year that if I'm winning, if I'm succeeding, and the people around me are not, and I'm taking from them, then I am not in line with my integrity, and that is, that's wishing harm on myself. And that's something that's like been really, really highlighted this year. It's definitely been a test in my life. So I'm really happy that you brought that up, because integrity means so much to me, and it's just absolutely essential. I feel like more and more people are coming into their heart centers and realizing this as well. So that's good.
I hope so. I mean, it's definitely happening. You can see that. I mean, what's happening? It seems what's happening is that the consciousness is really putting the pressure on the beings that are just not yet like totally asleep, totally unconscious. They're getting a lot of problems, whether it's sickness, whether it's problem. Like, the universe is just crushing them, forcing them to God, forcing them to really go, okay, God, like, what the fuck, And then when I do believe when you have that breakdown, you go, okay, something, what's going on here? It's really putting the pressure on. It did for me. It was crushing me, and I had the feeling that I was a little bit behind schedule in my awake. I've actually been told this. The universe put the pressure on me because I'm one of the ones that's supposed to wake up first and to help everybody else, and I was behind schedule. And there's just things in my life that were not in alignment. And so once I started waking up, it was really fast, because once I just went, oh, okay, I'm paying attention now. I understand it. I need to wake the fuck up. Okay, boom. It was just like download, understanding, and my consciousness literally just went boom. It just exploded, because I was ready, and I decided absolutely I want to wake up 100%. I'm not afraid of it. I want to know the absolute truth. Who am I? What am I doing here? I want it all. And I was obsessed. I went around the world meeting enlightened masters, working with plant medicine. I mean, everything. I just went full gung-ho, and had more and more crazy experiences until, the really big one where I was just, just all that is for, about a week. There was just bliss. That was a big one. So yeah. So it's like, holy fuck. And so everybody's and so that's the thing. Everyone needs to get into alignment. I hate to say it needs to, but I would invite everyone, if your life is not, if you're not happy, if you're not good, if you're not already like blissed out and you're doing what you want with your life, This is the time. Get in alignment. Like, do what you got to do. Quit the job. Get out of that bad relationship. You can create. You know, everyone is a creator, and everyone can create the life that they want. And whatever this big event that's coming down, what I think it really is I think it's just ascension, consciousness, energy coming down. And those of us who are already at a certain level of love and helping other beings, I don't know what's going to happen. Whether we're going to get superpowers, or our consciousness just goes up, or we get a light body. I don't know what's going to happen. Something's going to happen. But I think the people who are really in a bad place, they're just gonna. It may be more difficult for them to continue. Like, or maybe some of them leave the body. Maybe some of them are just, I don't know. But we got to get our shit together.
That does happen. That does happen. I know that, you know, if they are not, you know, if there's some people who are not, you know, aligned and are not, you know, are kind of resisting, some people will fall off the planet. But it is a force at this point. You know, it's like this force that's pushing us into that direction. And I actually heard this. I don't know if you know Matt Kahn.
Of course, I love him.
Beautiful man. He's truly in the fifth dimension. I can totally see that. He said, you know, what is happening is when we get into these tumultuous relationships in this time, or, you know, we have all this pressure on us, like you were speaking of, we are having our hearts broken to the point where they cannot be they can't close anymore. You know, we have to have our hearts broken so many times that it just has to open. So, and I think that's what's really happening here. And I see a lot of things, you know, I was just in a Temescal recently, and so that's a sweat lodge for people who don't know. And, you know, there's a lot of emotions that come out, and it's a really spiritual process. And there was so much anxiety coming out. And so there's so much of this anxiety and fear, and it's coming to the surface right now. And it's obviously going to be played out with our peers and with relationships and businesses and things like that. And it's an opportunity for us to learn and to grow. And, you know, I had this ayahuasca ceremony where I was kind of slapped in the face by the plant. And it told me, you don't control any of this. And we are right on time. We're right on time. Everybody is where they need to be, you know, and this will just continue until we're all going to be in the same place at some point. We're just all taking different paths to get there.
Yeah. And that's for me, one of the most difficult things that I think I'm finally getting it. But it's just been really respecting people's journey because my path, because I'm here to really help people. Like, I'm here to help people just to wake up, to snap out of the matrix. That's always been so strong for me. Just wake. Hey, you're in a fucking dream. Don't listen to the controllers. Just wake the fuck up. You don't have to do anything you're told. It's all bullshit. I just can't help it. Like, literally. And then working with men also I'm very passionate about. And it's been so hard for me to see somebody who's suffering and they're stuck, and I just want to be like, hey, you know, if you just read this book, or just drop doing this one thing, or whatever, you know, just drop the anger, But if someone isn't really ready, if someone doesn't by themselves decide, you know, I need help, I really want to wake up, I really want to get better, it's not up to me to help them.
Exactly.
And that's so hard because I love people, and I just, you know, the more free I become and the more I wake up and the more liberated I am, I just want to help everybody not suffer. You know what I mean? Because because it's optional. We don't have to suffer at all. And it's really hard for me to watch the suffering and go, hey, this person is also God, and they're on their own specific journey of awakening, and I have to let them suffer until they come to me and say, Sasha, you're happy all the time. You seem to be doing great. Please help me. Will you please help me? Then exactly. Yes. Then I can say, yes, sir. Have a seat. Let me get you a cup of tea. Let's have a chat. I've got some nice books here. One of them might change your life. Absolutely. But until somebody looks me in the eyeballs and says, Sasha, please, I want to work with you, or help me, or just at least talk to me for 5 minutes, give me some advice. Gotta let them do their thing. Really tough for me.
Yeah, I totally understand, because, you know, it's the same with ayahuasca for me. For a while, I was like, this is it. This is what's going to cure the earth. You know, we should just put it in our water supply and have a go at it. And then I've come to the realization that not all of us are ready for that. And I really just have to be that person that is a trusting source for people to come to. And when people are ready, they come to me. It's never gone over well for me to push. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it took me a long time to learn that. Now I just wait, you know, but I think, you know, Sasha, you're doing such wonderful work. You're helping men, you know, and it's great to see that you're going down this beautiful path, and you've really done the work. And I really just want to say, I know I'm the one being interviewed here, but I really, really appreciate what you do. So, you know, I think that you're helping a lot of men in a time where men really need the help.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But in an interview, it doesn't matter who's interviewing. It's a
Yeah,
conversation. We're talking, we're hanging
conversation.
out. It's all good. But yeah. And the thing is, it feels so good. And one of the things I'm sure, tell me if you're experiencing this. I'm guessing you're going to go, yep. But the more you heal and the more you feel better and the more comfortable you just get, with who you are and what you're doing, the less it becomes about anything like recognition or ego or whatever. And it just becomes more about the joy of serving. And it's just like,
Exactly.
nothing really makes me happy other than helping other people. Nothing. Nothing. I don't care about anything else, like money or things or like property, like nothing. Like it's sure if I have money, like yeah, I'll go to the nice restaurant, I'll buy that whatever fucking thing, but doesn't mean anything. It's just I just want to help people and they're suffering. That's it. And that's the crazy thing with all the people who are like suffering and they're trying to make money and they're working their asses off and all this kind of stuff. It's like if you just flip that around and start loving and healing yourself, the amount of joy you'll have by not only just from healing and accepting and getting to know you, from helping other people on that journey, it's the greatest. Being at
It
service
is.
to others is wonderful, and the whole universe aligns to help you do that because you're working with consciousness. Consciousness just wants to awaken other consciousness, right? That consciousness only has one thing to
I love
awaken.
that.
That's all. That's all it is. So when you tap into your true being, which is the I am, the consciousness, when you realize your true nature, you don't care about making. If you care about making $20 million a year, it's because you're going to spend 19.999 million on charities or helping people or whatever, and you'll take like 50K for yourself just to pay your rent or whatever. It becomes about the service. And, and
Yeah.
and that's what's about to happen on the planet. So many people will be in service that when we get down to the last few percentage of the people like holding their money or whatever, everyone will be looking at them like, we just want to love you so you can heal. How much longer are you going to be hoarding your billion? And then those people just start breaking down and be like, everybody loves me. And they'll just give it all away and that'll be the end of it. That's where we're going. It's just a matter of how long, like 10 years, 20 years, I don't know. But that's where we're going.
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I still have a hard time with this sometimes because I'm noticing a lot of people in my life, some people in my life are, projecting their pain. And this is where pain starts because they project their pain onto you and then you have pain and then you project your pain onto somebody else. And that's, I had a ceremony where this was all shown to me. And it was like, don't spread any more pain. There's already enough in the world,
Right.
So even if somebody is trying to, go after you, hurt you, it's just out of pain. That's
Right.
all it is. And to be compassionate with that and really, and what you're saying, I go to bed thinking about what we're building for Anarch Awakening, like these ceremonies that we're doing. The last thought on my mind when I go to bed is like thinking about these people in a circle who are coming, right? And having this transformational experience and really healing and meeting parts of their souls that they didn't even know existed. And that is the most beautiful manifestation I could have, manifested for myself. And I'm so happy that I get to live my passion. So yeah, I definitely agree that when you come into your heart center, you do realize how important it is to serve humanity, and that becomes the most important thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful journey getting there. So tell me a little bit more about you. So are you full time working just with plant medicine? Are you serving? I mean, what exactly is your passion, or what are you doing on a day-to-day basis? Because I don't actually know.
Oh, I'm working on our project for this February, Anarch Awakening. It's here in Acapulco, Mexico. It's our first annual event, and it's a conscious conference. We're having a conscious conference on the 13th of February, and that's followed by a series of different medicine ceremonies, all types of medicine ceremonies. Some more intense than others, because some people are just called to learning how to breathe. Some people are just called to a tea ceremony. So we have all these really beautiful facilitators coming to teach us what they've devoted their lives to learning about. And so it's a really, really beautiful gathering of remarkable individuals. And it's not like these people I handpicked off the street. They have PhDs. They like to learn, and they're incredible healers, and they're from all over the world. So I thought it was really important to show that souls do not have ethnicity. If you're a healer, you can be from anywhere. And, if that's what you're supposed to be doing, that's what you're going to be doing. So it's just these really beautiful people who are going to be coming and speaking about their passions and their medicine and then offer that medicine. So that's something that I've been putting together for quite a few months now. And, we put a lot of love into it. And of course, we don't want this to be the last one. So this is basically what I'm doing every day, is just thinking of new things to add to our conference, and to make this a really, really special experience for those who are involved.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds like I'm really excited. I think it's going to be sweet.
I'm super excited to have you there.
Yeah, no, I realize there's so many conscious festivals around the world, and I've been so busy, like, building up Infinite Man and doing my own thing and filming videos for YouTube and doing podcasts. I haven't really gone to any. I mean, I went to Boom Festival, which was amazing, super amazing, this summer, but I haven't really gotten a chance to go out there. So actually, yeah, I'm just excited to be part of it and meet people, because the people, it's all about the people, right? Because you can imagine the people who are on the path that are going to be there. They're going to all be loving people just in their hearts and trying to help each other and heal it. It's just going to be beautiful. So I already know I know it's going to be amazing, even though it hasn't happened yet. I already know, because it's our spiritual family, right? It's our soul family. So it's going to be so good.
It is. Medicine people are beautiful. Medicine people are truly, they're what I've learned from the people that I've met in Peru is they've done so much inner work, and they've come to such beautiful epiphanies about themselves and other people, that they're very forgiving, they're very loving and calm. Not all of them, but there's a lot of calm ones, and there's more excited ones, but medicine people are beautiful, and I've been more I've been more attracted to that in the last few years, and kind of separated myself, because you have to, as a healer too, you have to protect your energy. So that's a big thing that I've been learning how to do in the few years that I've been working with this medicine, is try to surround myself with people who sit with the medicine, know themselves, and are very kind and compassionate people.
That's really important. So I'm curious. So other than organizing the festival, though, you're a healer. Like, what else have you been doing in these last few years before you came up with the idea to do the festival? What have you been doing?
Well, right now I'm still in my education, like continuing education. I can't, I really would love to hold ceremonies for people, ayahuasca ceremonies. I apprentice in the Amazon jungle. I've done about 6 months of apprenticeship work so far, and I'm going back for my full year apprenticeship sometime within the next, hopefully, year or two. I would like to go back, but that's up to God. And once I do that, then I'm able to hold, small ceremonies for people if I feel ready. But I'm still in my learning process. So in my spare time, I'm usually in Peru doing isolation diets, not eating a lot of food, fasting, and really getting down to the nitty gritty of what's going on in my psyche, and how I can learn to work with that, and then turn that into helping others in the future. So basically right now I'm still learning how to clear energy and things like that. I'm learning a new language. I'm learning the Shipibo language, so I can, we use our voices to sing to others to help move that energy. So there's a lot that I'm doing right now. I'm living in Mexico. I nanny for 3 wonderful children. That's been a really, really spiritual experience in itself, is being a part of, a 1.5-year-old's building of their psyche. It's been, they've listened to a lot of Beatles music because of me. But I do a lot. I work with kids right now, and I work on healing, creating this gathering, and then I'm in the jungle.
That's awesome. So you're really going for it. You're really serious. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've had to have this talk with myself. Like, this was a really big ego death for me, I guess. An acceptance part of, because in the jungle, I mean, it's not easy. It's like, this is not an easy path, because while you're trying to heal, there are dark forces at work too. It's the resistance, and there is that yin and the yang. And there are energies that are powerful, very powerful, and try to turn you somewhat into an asshole. There is that balance. And, sometimes I've had to ask myself, am I strong enough to go through this? And being a shaman was such an integral part of my identity, that was really hard for me to go, well, what if this isn't my path? What if this isn't? But it's so freeing to be able to say, okay, well, maybe that's not a part of my identity anymore. I mean, it was really uncomfortable to say it at first, but I really like what I do now, which is just bringing them together, and being able to offer for people who are looking for these these medicine men and women. I like being that bridge for people. And it's freeing, now I can go to the jungle and be like, well, there's no expectation of me coming out here and like holding ceremony afterwards. And I don't have to go to Peru next year. If it's not the time, it's not the time. It's created a lot of freedom in myself. I'll still go down that healing path. And I really do think that I will be able to help people in the future, especially when it comes to childhood trauma, because a lot of the times what is happening in our minds, we don't even realize that we have created patterns from our childhood. It's so in depth and we don't even see it. And so right now, what I'm learning how to do is heal that trauma. And, there's a lot of love and you have to be really patient. I have to be very patient in order to learn how to heal these things. So one day, but yeah, I'm very, very serious about it. It's done. So my heart is so open because of this medicine. I am not the same person that I was 3 years ago. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of ego, and that's kind of I still have uncomfortable parts of myself, my ego, but yeah, it's definitely helped me grow as a person.
Sounds like it. That's awesome. Yeah, like something you said, when you said it's up to God, it's like as long as our hearts are in the right place and we just want to heal ourselves and heal others and do good, we're going to be led. You're going to be shown you can do this, that. You know what I mean? Like, again, once the path is just being at service and loving other beings because they're you, you're going to have a great life. Like, you don't have to and it's a lot of ego stuff. I had the same thing. I used to be a comedian. I used to be a dating coach. I used to be all these ideas, but no, I'm just, just go with the flow. Everything is always changing. And, we just go where we're led. That was one of the big things that came in on my last Satori experience. Was just, it's not up to me. Any decision you think, should I live here? Should I do this? It's an illusion that you think it's not up to us. We big self, we planned the major points for ourselves before we came down here, and things are just unfolding. And we think that we're the ones going, I'm going to do this. No. It's really funny. It was so clear too. It's like, wow, I don't have to worry about anything anymore. I could just be present and everything will happen. And that's actually the case. It's just the mind is so strong. It thinks it's in control.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. Yeah. And God, it would be such a different world if we all just lived in the moment, wouldn't it?
It sure would.
It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah. But, that was a lesson that I got in one of my first ayahuasca ceremony, actually, is I was in a hotel conference room, which I truly and honestly, I don't agree that that's a good place to be doing ayahuasca, but I was there and there was a person that was, 28 floors down, there was a little person that looked like an ant, and he was walking, and the sun was coming up, and I just got this profound lesson that the human experience is such a sacred experience, and it should not be wasted. Every moment is beautiful, and take a bite of fruit and really enjoy that fruit, eat with mindfulness, so, and that's a hard, still, and this is why I love this medicine, but it's just tools to make your life, more peaceful and better. You got to really apply it. And the integration is the hardest part. And still, I still have hard times living in the moment, even though I had that beautiful epiphany,
Yeah. Same here. It's tough because we're so conditioned that you're a person, right? And that this is what it is, and the mind is always thinking and doing things, and we're so smart, and look at us. But actually, the mind, being as advanced as it is and as busy as it is, actually takes away the enjoyment of being, which is our true nature, just to be. And it's so amazing as you get to, the mind starts to quiet. It's like, wow, you don't have to do anything to be happy. There's nothing to do. You can just sit and just watch the birds go by and just breathe and just be in a state of bliss because you exist. That's actually our true nature, that we can be absolutely at peace and happy because we exist and we're here, and there's nothing to do, and there never was, just to be. That's the truth of our being. Human being. The clue is in the title.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yeah, but then there's, those are, I think that's what we're challenged with. And I think that's what the ascension process is about. I think you've got it right, Sasha. I think that you're, we're really on a path with this. And, it is just to be and to really just simply be that. That's all you have to do in this life, and everything will unfold for you. It was really funny. There was a ceremony that I had, because I do have a lot of anxiety. And there was a ceremony that I had where it was very, very clear. It was like, what would happen if you just trusted the universe? What would happen if you just let go and trusted? And in that day, I was like, I don't know, I've never tried it before, but let's do this. And within that day, after ceremony, it was a daytime ceremony. I got money, it was this crazy, like amount of abundance from all different angles of life, and people reaching out to me and, wanting to talk about all this. And it was really like in that moment, what attracted to me, just because I let go and I trusted in that one moment, and I get that a lot. Sometimes I'll get, like we're a day where I just like attract all this and I can feel it attracting. And then, but being human is an up and down roller coaster ride. We're going to take steps back and we're going to go forward. So
that's right. That was one of the main themes leading up to my, latest awakening, was just this trusting, just trusting more in the universe, trusting more in God, just letting go. And then, then it was like, that was it. And I knew that it's possible to make this absolute leap of faith where you just completely let go and just trust that everything will be fine. But it's really tough. It's really tough because we're so programmed into, you got to save money, you got to get insurance, you got to save up for your retirement, you got to be careful. What about, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, the toxic soup of beliefs that we're exposed to. And actually, in reality, there's absolutely nothing to worry about ever.
Well, and they get us on that when we're young. That 1.5-year-old girl that I nanny for, she'll sometimes watch shows on YouTube. And, the kids shows. And there are some of these shows that I'll catch her watching where I'm like, we got to turn this off now, because it is automatically like, we got to run. There's no more food. Oh my God, the toys have broken, and it's all this anxiety, and we got to rush to school and la, la, la. And it's, right out of the womb. I don't know if you've ever heard the song by John Lennon, The Working Class Hero. I'm sure you have. They as soon as you're bored, they're giving us no time instead of it all. I totally forgot the lyrics, but that's basically what I'm saying. They just take away the time from us, and they create this anxiety very early. But I think that's changing. I really, really do. We've got an up climb of parents who are unschooling their children. And the crystal children that are coming in, I'm sure you've heard of like the rainbow children who are like remembering their past lives, and they're putting these crystal grids together. There's this whole new generation of really, really beautiful children coming in who are really going to pave the way for the fifth dimension.
Yep. It's going to be a crazy time coming up right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be pretty tough from what I've heard. It's going to be tough until about 2021. We're kind of in a pressure cooker right now, which is a big symptom of the ascension process, is feeling like we're in a pressure cooker. And it's because our DNA is reforming and vibrating on a different level. So after 2021, the heat's kind of going to simmer a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all you can do is just be in integrity and be loving and enjoy every single moment that we have on the planet. That's pretty much it. So I'm keeping my friends out of their kitchen. So let's say to everybody out there, if you're ready for the call to work on yourself, to love yourself, to heal yourself, come on down to Mexico. There's several things happening. So you've got you're on the 13th, the Narc Awakening. It's all day long, right? It starts at 8:00 in the morning. 7 o'clock in the morning. Damn, girl, that's early. And then, of course, our friends are doing an Acapulco from the 14th to the 17th. And then, of course, there's Infinite Man Summit on the 18th and 19th. So it's just this epic chunk of just healing and anarchy and freedom and spiritual everything. It's everything. It's too much. It's so much going on. You could burn out. Your head could just explode because there's so much amazingness. But yeah, so if you're vibing with this, but definitely, I hopefully it'll be really cool to come to your one and meet some people maybe who even saw this and were like, you guys are so great, and we'll just be hugging people, and it's gonna be a lot of hugging. Yeah, I feel a lot of hugging is coming.
There's going to be a lot of laughing, hugging. It's going to be a day of just connection. So please stop out. It's going to be a really, really special experience for those who are involved in it.
Wonderful. And I think I came up with a name for my talk, but I'll be talking about
Yes.
Something along like an exploration into raising our consciousness, or something along those lines. Yeah. Yeah, like a
Beautiful.
group little discussion on how do we raise our consciousness up and how do we love more. Ooh,
Beautiful. Well,
and a meditation.
perfect.
Yeah.
We are so honored to have you this year, and hopefully next year and many more years after this.
Hopefully, maybe we'll have it all around the world. It'll be great.
I would love that.
That would be great.
All
Okay,
right.
awesome. So I'll put all the
Thank you
links
so much.
in below in the video so everyone can find everything they need. And looking forward to hanging out and giving you a big hug next month. Cool.
Likewise, igualmente. All right. Thank you,
Namaste.
Sasha.
See you soon.
Bye.